Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I'm going to show you today how to create a video like this. And we're going step by step together, and I show you different techniques in Cinema 4D R20, Octane Render, and also X-Particle for creating the liquid effect that you can see here. Okay, let's start with the first part. The first thing I want to show you is how to get the 3D model that you need for this video. I usually don't bother to make everything from scratch because you can find tons of stuff free in the internet and it's easy to work with. For example, for this package of fruit, I searched simply for one free package and I found this one. It was really high quality piece of fruits that came with UV map and also all the texture, bump map, displacement map, and what you get is this file. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. So there is an OBJ file and also all the map that we need to create something realistic. So let's jump to the Cinema 4D and start. So the first thing first, you need to import the OBJ file, and as you can see we don't have any texture on it, so we're going to create it in Octane. For this kind of material, I mean fruit, I usually use the Octane glossy material. When we open it, you can see the normal setting for the material, but something I really like to work with is node editor. For the people that not really familiar with the node based environment, it might be a little bit confusing at the beginning, but when you get used to it, you can see it's really easy to navigate and you see what you're doing. We need the image texture here, and we're going to load the diffuse channel and simply give it to the diffuse channel of the material, assign it to the object. So what you can see here is it's just a color and the reflection that came from the glossy material, and it's not that realistic because it's more like a plastic fruit right now. The next thing that we need is we need kind of texture on the surface of this fruit. The one way to do it is create a bump. We already have the channel for the bump, so I'm going to use one more image texture and go and load the image texture bump here. There we go. As you can see, there is a texture on the surface of this fruit. It makes it more realistic, but right now I think the reflection is not kind of right. So the other things that we need is the reflection channel. So I used another image texture and load the specular channel, and we give it to the specular. And let's have a look at it. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the result. Okay, the first part is done, and now we're going to do the same process for the bottle that we have. So we need the transparent material for the body, so we use a specular material in Octane. We already have liquid inside. As you notice, we don't have any light, so I'm going to give it too light to have something to reflect, but something weird happened here, that kind of black inside. I mean, you don't see the liquid inside. So two things that we need to change here is, first of all, we need to change the way that Octane calculate the image. Right now it's in direct lighting, and we need to put it on path tracing. It's more accurate way of processing. If you open the Octane setting, you can see the number of sample is right now is too high. For preview, I think something around 150 to 200 is quite good. We keep it on 200, but you have to notice in these two options, specular depths and diffuse depths. This is the number of the times that light go inside your material and bouncing around. If you have really low number on here, we again back to the dark kind of water, because the lights only go 5 times. For example, I'm not really sure how it works, but I know that this is the number of times that light bouncing inside this material. So to see a clear kind of liquid, we need to go something above 10, or in this case I keep it on like 16. That is a default. Okay, now we managed to get the clear water, and how we can turn it to something like orange juice. Let's open the node editor. There's a couple of things that we need to do here. First of all, we need to add some absorption and scattering to the material. In the really easy way, absorption is like you add a kind of clear ink to the water that change the color, but it's still clear. But scattering is like you add the flour or dust to the water, so the light's not gonna pass as easy as the clear water. So let me show you what I mean. So here I'm gonna add this scattering to the medium channel. This is the channel that you only have with specular material and diffuse material. So we need a color source color to do the scattering job for us here. Let me add this RGB spectrum to both scattering and absorption. So now we can change the color to something around really light yellow. But because the density, okay, let me show, okay. So you can see it's turned to yellow here, but in the render it's really dark. It's more like a paint rather than juice. So that's because right now the density of this material is really high. So we're going to reduce it to something around 18. The another thing that we need to change here is we need to give some color to transmission. Transmission is basically control how the light pass from the surface, or in better way, it control the speed of light that passing the surface. Let's add some color to transmission. Again, really light yellow orangish color. Maybe in the real world you see the same result for the orange juice. I mean, it's not really shiny, but for the sake of make it more attractive for the commercial, I usually do this as well. There is an emission channel in this scattering node, so I'm going to add one black body emission, and I add it to the emission. Right now it's super glowing, so we don't want that. Turn down the power of this emission to something like 4 or 3. Okay, as I told you, it's not real, it's kind of faking the effect, but as long as it looks good, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, now we have the material for the juice. The next part is the label. We need to use one image texture to give this to this material and make it like it's wrapped around the bottle. So I'm gonna use glossy material here, and let's open the node editor again. And to import the image to Octane, we need one image texture node. There we go. And we're going to give it to diffuse channel. If I give this material to the label that we have, by the way, you can directly give the material in the live viewer window. That's really cool feature of the octane. Right now you see that it looks like it's not right because we don't map this label properly and we want to do something really quick. So I used another technique here. You basically can control the how the material projected to the object with the projection, and also you can adjust the size with this option. So I'm going to add one projection node, and here I'm gonna change the texture projection from UV mesh, from mesh UVs to cylindrical, because we don't have the map for this label. So as you can see, it's kind of big, but it gives you some option to control it here. So rotate this around the y-axis to be in front. Let's lock everything together and make it small. As you can see here, it's going to repeat the texture. One trick here is go to the image texture, and instead of wraparound, we change it to black or white. That way you can see where the actual label is, and it's easier to adjust it. Let's bring it here, and still it's quite big, so let's change the scale again. For now, I think we're good. Okay, now we're good, and the only things that left to do is the door. But before that, I noticed that it's kind of still we lost a lots of color from the juice, and it's because in the transparent material that we have on the bottle, we still need to activate the fake shadows. So when I do this, I'm not really sure that you feel any difference. So I'm gonna use this cool effect in the Octane material, Octane Live Viewer, that allows you to compare two render together. So enable the A/B comparison, and when you enable it, you can store render buffer. So what it does is it's store the old render that you have in the B side, and you can see your new render in the A side. So I'm gonna use activate the fake shadow, and here we go. Let's look at the difference between these two. Can you see how much more color we get from the actual liquid inside the bottle? And I think it's really cool. Okay, now the door is really easy to do. We just use a glossy material for the door and just apply it here to the door, and we're going to change the color to something like orange. Let's go closer and have a look. Right now I think it's too reflective, so what you can do here is go to the roughness and add some roughness to the door to see what result we get. So the roughness make it more like a plastic than something super shiny, and I think we're good for now. So okay, as you can see in this video, we have a bunch of leaves that goes around, and let's make it really quick. Okay, to create the leaf, let's go to front view, and we're going to option, configure, and in the back we can load an image. Let's start to outline it really fast. Okay, now we need to extrude this spline. So I'm gonna get one extrude here and give this spline to it. So the thickness is kind of high, really thick. So I'm going to turn it down to something like 2. And because we need to bend these sleeves to make it more realistic, we need more subdivision on the surface. Right now you can see it's just one piece. So I'm going to choose extrude, go to the caps, and change the type from n-gon to quad angles. And also you need to check this option here. We also need to kind of match the edges with the surface. I mean, the connection right now has too many triangles, so we're trying to make more quads. So now we want to bend this leaf. So I'm gonna make one current state object from the extrude that we have and make this one invisible. And right now you have the caps and the surface are two separate options. So we're gonna choose all of them and choose connect and delete. Go. So now you have a single object. Here we're going to bend this. So I'm gonna choose the bend deformer. Before you give it to the object, make sure that which angle it's gonna be bent, because in my experience in Cinema 4D you never get right angle by the chance. So we know that it's bent this way. Rotate this from here and again 90 degrees this way. Let's kill the angle and make it right. Yeah, I think it's good. So we give this bend deformer to the object and then choose fit to parents. Another thing that I need to do here is, beside bending, I need to a little bit twist it. So it gives us a kind of random shape of leaf. So what you need to do is, for now we're going to disable these options here, and I'm going to UV editor here. For doing this you need to choose this UV tag. Go to the UV polygons and choose one of these, then Control A to choose all of them. Use the frontal projection and it gives you a rough mapping. So we make it bigger. Push the T, you can make it bigger here, and with the E key you can change the position. Again, T a little bit bigger, and that's it for now. So let's go to the octane setup again and start working on material. So again, we need a glossy material. I'm opening it and open the node editor, bring one image texture and load the texture of the leaf that we already have and give it to the diffuse color. So let's apply this material and see what we get. Okay, so as you can see, the material that we have here is kind of in the wrong way. So the way to edit it is, I'm coming to the image texture and give it one UV transform. With the UV transform, you can rotate the material like 180 degrees and start working with the size to make it fit to the leaf. And now let's activate the bend and twist again and see what we get. Okay, there we go. We don't have any light here, so we probably don't see much of things here. Let me add a light really quick. It's too bright. Turn it down. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, you can see some reflection and roughness on the surface of the leaf. So yeah, that's fine for now. So right now we have all the assets that we need for this video. So I'm going to end this tutorial here, and for the next one we're going to work with X particle and I show you how to create a cool effect of liquid that goes around the bottle. See you in the next time.